And we are live here at the 2017 Babe Ruth World Series in game number 1 between Tri-Valley, California and Sarasota, Florida. The bracket has already been determined. Seeding is all that matters at this point. Both these two teams are going to move on to the championship rounds, along with New Jersey. So this game, Florida needs to win this game to have a chance at winning and getting the bye to go through, but they're going to have to win by a lot of runs because then you would have a three-way tie potentially at the top, and it's going to matter as far as runs allowed, things of that nature. It gets kind of goofy after that, but
it does. But the point is, you want the bye.
You want the bye. You're exactly right. And, of course, the bye on the other side has already been wrapped up by the host team, Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. So the bye is important moving forward. First pitch is a ball to Trevor Jackson, the third baseman. Second pitch is also low. We've seen the pitchers in the early games struggle for the first inning or so, finding the strike zone, but then they settle in pretty nicely. 2-0 catches the plate. Strike one.
Overcast day here, Cam, with the wind blowing out for the first time during the tournament.
And it's a pretty steady stream. Too bad that's at our backs and we have a building behind us, so no cool air for the broadcasters.
That's right. But it is strong enough today, and it's still a warm day, even though it's overcast. It's strong, the wind blowing out. It can help some balls get out of here today.
Absolutely. Evan Gibbs, the pitcher for Sarasota. And he walks the first batter. So Trevor Jackson's aboard.
Trevor has some wheels. I've had a couple of his games already, and he runs well. And California, they may attempt a small ball, but so far to this point, they just step in there and they try to stroke it in the gap.
Next batter for California is Joey
Badaliga.
Badaliga. Well, I'm sure that's not 100% accurate, and we apologize. And there is a small bunt. They're playing the small ball. Advance the runner. He does his job with the sacrifice. And Jackson moves over to the second. One out in the inning.
Badaliga did a great job there, just getting the bunt fair, because him getting on base was of no concern. They just wanted to move the guy in the scoring position. He did a good job of doing that.
Jaden Shepard, the right fielder, steps in, open stance. First pitch to Shepard's down the middle for a strike.
Shepard was game 1 starter for Tri-Valley. Did a good job. He pitched through, I think, 5 innings. Did a good job. Only gave up 3 runs.
He's got the build to be a really torquey pitcher. He is a tall kid for 15 years old.
Was he about 6'2", Cam?
At least, yeah. I was 6'2" as a 15-year-old.
You think you were as
athletic
as he was?
No. I didn't even know what you were going to say. Those answers already know.
I didn't. I was going to say, you think you could walk and chew gum at 15?
No.
At 6'2"?
No. 1-1 the count. Pop up. Torres on the run. He's under it. Makes the grab. Runner tags. He's heading to third. No throw.
Jackson he tagged and came off there so hard, I thought he was going to fall for about 15 steps, but he finally got his legs underneath him and made it easily.
Tell you what, Torres, leadoff guy for Sarasota, he's got some wheels too, and he can track them down for a long ways in the outfield. And you look at the gaps between him and his right and left fielder. Look how much room he's got to cover here as his guys play more on the lines.
Well, and two, we just seen right there, that ball was hit deeper.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be a routine pop.
Absolutely.
Absolutely,
because of the wind. So the wind is going to be a factor while it blows.
And there is some rain to our north that's factoring into the wind. I think we're going to be dry. There's a strike. 0-2 the count now to Corey Steinhauer. Steinhauer? Shortstop.
Steinhauer. And he's a good player. He's got a good arm.
Gibbs. Down to first. He's going to toss to his pitcher. And that'll end the inning. No hits, no runs, no errors. One runner left on. We played through the top of the first. We head to the bottom. You're watching the 2017 Babe Ruth World Series on X Sports TV. And welcome back into 2017 Babe Ruth World Series. Tri-Valley, California, up around Oakland, and Sarasota, Florida, in the greater Tampa area. No score, bottom half of the first inning. Daryl Torres will be the batter for Sarasota. First pitch is low, ball one. Patrick Gallagher, the pitcher for California.
He's been the starting center fielder all week, so he's getting his first time on the hill.
Curveball misses. 2-0 the count. The Torres, who has got some wheels in them gold cleats.
And he is officially out of the box, Cam. He's so he took the front white line. Wait a minute. No, he's not. Sorry. He'd wiped it in. I thought he was completely right on top of the plate, out of the box, but he's good.
There's certain leagues you would get a brushback.
Yep.
And he walked him on 4 straight pitches. So Torres is aboard, and much like California, the first batter to start the inning is aboard. And like I said, we've seen that in the first couple of innings. We've seen them kind of struggle through the first hitters or so in these games in the entire tournament. It's not just one particular team. It's been pretty well every team. And
that's right.
It just takes you a minute to get the arm more loosened up and get it settled in. Dylan Robertson, the second baseman. And that one's popped up. Shallow center field. Center fielder's under it. He makes the catch.
Badalega.
I'll let you pronounce that one from here on.
Badalega had most of the week has played shortstop. Again, I've had 2 of their games. He's played shortstop most of the week. He's played second base most of the week. But with Gallagher being the starting center fielder, I guess Badalega with his speed's probably moved out to center.
First pitch to Tyler Russin is a strike.
A good curveball that
it was.
Jackson has, especially to a lefty.
Russin getting his sign from the third base coach, steps in. Open stance, no batting gloves. Throw to first, runner's back safely.
Courtesy toss on that one.
Tell you what, we had a game yesterday that they couldn't, every time they try a pickoff, it ended up near the cage over there, and it was automatic 2 extra bases every time. Russin, another shallow pop fly. Center fielder coming in. It's going to fall down. It's a base hit. And Sarasota's in business with 2 runners on.
Well, that's kind of in no man's land. He makes a big swing on it, so when it takes off, the center fielder's probably thinking it's going to be deeper, and then it just doesn't. He doesn't hit it very hard. But I tell you what, Torres did a great job of drifting out there so that he doesn't get hung out to dry when the ball does fall. He easily makes a second, because if you don't get out there and it drops, they can still throw you out at second.
Jason Scott, the batter. And we've got time on the field.
As an outfielder, that's always the worst. Guy makes a big swing and hits it right off the end of the bat, and it doesn't go anywhere. You think he's hit it 300 feet.
First pitch to Scott, curveball misses low. I always loved when I got up to bat and the guys were up against the fence because I was a little bigger. I'm like, y'all are way too deep. We're just going to drop this right in over second base or strikeout. Another pop fly. Left fielder charges in. Backs, and they dropped it. The center fielder come in, and they're going to get an out.
Called infield fly there, Cam.
They're going to call an infield fly for that one.
That's the old Atlanta Braves and the Cardinals call nearly.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that ball's, 25, 30 feet out in the grass?
It is.
But, again, the infield fly rule is in place to protect the runners. So both of those guys are on the base. It's also the call is made by ease of how much the play should be made. So that way they don't just get out there, drop it, and they start picking kids off. I think that was probably the right call there.
I agree. It's just unconventional that you see it in that situation.
That's right.
Because it was kind of in no man's land again. But, if all your runners had been safe, would he have called it then? Well,
it's probably – I guess in that situation, and I didn't pay attention to see how early the Clint Wright, the second base umpire, I didn't see how early he started calling it for the guy on second to retreat back. But if he doesn't call it pretty early, it would have probably been an automatic toss to third to get an out because both guys were still on the bag.
Right.
He may have called it and they just retreated back.
Right. I'm with you. Nicholas Henry, the batter. The shortstop for Sarasota. The 1-0, swing and a miss, runners go on the pass ball.
Jackson's got good movement on his fastball. Even though he doesn't throw hard, he's got, with him being, he throws a good two-seamer. It's got a lot of tail on it, and even his curveball's sharp. So both pitches that he throws has a lot of movement on it. Or Gallagher, not Jackson.
You see him, he's rotating the ball kind of behind him, kind of fidgeting with the ball. He gets set. He does. He's got a lot of movement. 1-2 the count now.
If you don't throw hard, you better have a lot of movement. Just ask Greg Maddox.
That's exactly right.
You can get away with, not having 95 if you've got movement. Or at this age, you can get away with 70 if you've got some movement.
And batter steps out. Pitcher is taking too long as Henry regroups. Runners on third and second with 2 outs for Sarasota. They've yet to play a run in the inning. The 1-2 is outside, 2-2.
Tri-Valley faithful wanted that, but if they had our vantage point, they'd realize it was in the other batter's box.
It was almost at that on top of the white stripe there that marks the other batter's box. It was definitely a ball. The 2-2. Another outside. Full count now. No score, bottom of the first. 2 outs in the inning. He takes a while to get set from the stretch. And that one dropped out of the bottom. He thought about swinging. He wisely held up, and he'll take his base.
Henry was asking for time, but home plate umpire just wouldn't give it to him. Gallagher is a little slow in delivery to the plate.
He's very methodical. And it's gonna throw the hitters off. If you're used to a quick pitching, which you see that now a lot.
Absolutely.
You see kids being taught the quick pitch.
That's right.
Because I think as baseball progresses and as we go on, I think you're going to see that be more and more of a thing.
That's right.
It's
well,
timed.
That's exactly right. They're doing everything they can, even at the big league level, to speed the game up.
Right, exactly.
And it's just going to trickle down even to this age.
Absolutely. Cade Nelson, the designated hitter, steps in. First pitch is a strike.
I tell you, the kid that plays for Connecticut that's pitched a couple of times, Dan Mason, he's fast. He toes the slab, and he's bringing it in, so you better be ready.
And Ryan Weathers, of course, who has committed to Vanderbilt, a local prospect out of here, he works very fast. Of course, when you're throwing fastballs, I guess that works to your advantage.
Especially when they're 97.
And you're left-handed.
That's right. With movement.
With movement.
And a nasty hook. We can just keep going on and on.
You can. Yeah. Then he's gonna break a curveball off about 75 mile an hour.
Yeah.
It's like where'd that come from?
I think he was on. I think my daughter came in and told me last night he was on MLB Network.
He was.
East West game or maybe they showed a clip last night or she's seen something on there last night.
Let's see what they got. We may have a balk here, and we do. And that will play the runner. That's the second called balk we've seen in the tournament on this field. It was a 2-1 count. And when he breaks off, he's got to throw. If he makes a movement toward that direction, he's got to throw it, and he did not.
He just didn't throw it.
The break-off was clean. You just got to get rid of it.
That's exactly right.
I don't care if you throw it in the dirt. You got to get rid of it.
Pitch it up in the air.
Right.
Do something.
2-1 pitch. It's in the dirt. 3-1 the count.
I think
Cade Nelson.
I think Sarasota, obviously they're doing a good job of being patient, but I think if they will continue to stay patient and make Gallagher throw that fastball some, they got an opportunity to start teeing off.
And that one's right down Broadway.
Dad said he'll never blow it by you.
I've heard a lot of parents chiming in on things like that.
Absolutely.
I said, last night we had a parent saying he's a Deadpool hitter. Throw him outside, and he struck him out. And so Gallagher gets out of the inning with just one run, and it was allowed on the box, so nothing earned. One hit, no errors, one run. Sarasota leads California 1-0 after one. We're headed to the second 2017 Babe Ruth World Series from Lawrenceburg, Tennessee on X-Sports TV. You're watching 2017 Babe Ruth World Series in pool play, game between California and Florida. 1-0 Florida leads here in the top half of the second inning. First batter for California.
Batter number 5, Luke Pavaldi.
Is Luke Pavaldi.
Score updating for us.
And Pavaldi is having himself a nice tournament. According to our stats, he is 5 for 7 with 1 RBI, batting .714.
That is a good week.
And that could be just on this field, but that's the stats we have in ICAST. I would assume it's for the tournament. It says career, and usually the career would be this tournament.
Well, in 3 games, the at-bats kind of make sense.
And he draws one deep, and Torres is on the run, and he makes the grab. And I'm telling you what, it had been anybody besides Torres in center field, that ball is down for at least a double.
Him and J.D. Bedford, 2 best outfielders that I've seen all week. And Torres can cover more ground than anybody I've seen.
Your batter, left fielder, number 15, Shane.
That kid, he covered some ground right there.
And the next batter will be Shane Cancilia, the left fielder. Showing he's yet to register a hit in the tournament. On deck would be Josh Anderson. Evan Gibbs still pitching for Sarasota.
You know, Gibbs and Gallagher are very much alike, Cam. They're both left-handed, about the same size, throw the same speed.
And Cancilia breaks through with a base hit. He's aboard with 1 out. Yeah, they are. They're very similar.
First baseman, number 14, Josh Anderson.
So Anderson, the first baseman, steps in. Big left-handed hitter. Puts his left foot right up on the white stripe. That ball's down the middle. Strike 1. 1 out in the inning. Runner on for California. Of course, the last time the World Series was in Lawrenceburg, a California team came away victorious. 2015. They also say one of the tournaments they hosted back in the 70s, it was a California team that won that as well.
That had been the original.
Yeah.
Very first one.
I think it was the senior Babe Ruth.
It was 17-18. I think the first 2, both in 81, it was also senior Babe Ruth.
I think you're right.
I was 4 years old in 81, and my parents were host parents. I remember the 2 guys staying with us.
1-2 the count to Anderson. He golfs one out into the right field, and it's nearly over the head. Runner retreats back to first. He's there in time. 2 outs in the inning. He went down and got that one, broke out his pitching wedge.
He did. Cancilla, whenever the right fielder, Russin, broke in, then he kind of got fooled and the wind carried it, and then he had to break and go back. Cancilla thought he might have gotten burned, and he had to hustle back, but Russin got to it and got it back in.
Brad Couture, the center fielder, runner goes, throw to second. It's going to be there, but the runner is safe. He went under the tag. And from our vantage point, that looked like a good call, even though the Sarasota faithful did not agree. It did appear he was under the tag.
Yeah, I think Cancilla's mom wants,
Henry.
Sarasota's, one of them's mom wants a replay, so we'll call up to New York and have them run that.
You know what? In 2015, when we had the full camera set up, we had replays, so we could show, and look back, and it was a dangerous tool. I will say that.
That's awesome.
Swing and a miss. By Couture, as Gibbs got that one by him. 2 outs in the inning.
Tri-Valley looking for a big hit right here to tie the game up.
1-1 is the count to Couture. 2-1 now. That pitch was low. Couture is 2 for 4 in the tournament.
I think they pronounce that Kuchar.
Couture?
Kuchar.
My fault. My apologies to Brad Couture.
Kind of like Matt Kuchar,
Just
but it's spelled way different.
Spelled way different.
I may start giving him the cooch when he comes up.
I could never be a telemarketer. That pitch is low, and he's aboard as Couture's on first. So we got runners at first and second now with 2 outs. That'll bring up Patrick Gallagher, the pitcher.
All right. I guess if you're a 9-hitter, you can't hit.
Number 6,
Apparently so.
Gallagher.
The commentary from the crowd is always entertaining. 2 outs as first pitch to Gallagher is a strike.
I love you got to love parents, especially if you're the coach. You just got to love parents.
Man, that's my biggest fear. 1-1 now to Gallagher.
I'm sure you've seen these, Cam, on YouTube. A lot of those Domingo Ayala videos.
Yes.
Oh, I love them.
Yes. Swings at a high pitch. It's going to be fouled up and out of play.
He's got them for all aspects of the game, especially, and he gets on some of the parents. That's so funny. I love it.
The baseball park is where the parents get to relive the dreams they never got to.
That's right.
And he chases one upstairs, struck him out. 1 hit, no runs, no errors. We played 1.5. From the 2017 Babe Ruth World Series, Sarasota leads California. We'll be back in just a second. Welcome back into that 2017 Babe Ruth World Series from Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. And you may be wondering what the pause was on your computer screens. Well, the national anthem was playing on the other field, so out of respect. This game was halted. At least it was in between innings today. Had a lot of game yesterday. It was in the middle of a pitch count. That wasn't ideal. It's poor planning on that other field for that one. Owen Ayers is the batter. Swings at a second pitch to the shortstop. Shortstop's got it. And Steinhauer over the first. Steinhauer. Is that right? Steinhauer?
Sounds right.
Sounds right. That's what we're going to roll with. Josh Anderson at first base. Makes the play and one out in the inning.
Pitcher, number 4, Evan Gibbs.
And Evan Gibbs. The pitcher steps in. First pitch is outside corner for a strike.
Once again, Gallagher starting somebody off with that breaking ball.
It breaks about a foot.
It does. It's a good one.
That pitch is low, 1-1.
Well, you know, if you're California, and again, I who knows how often this kid pitches, but, I mean, they're already through to the next round.
Absolutely.
You know, they're at this point setting on, even if they lose this game and they stay within close run-wise, they still win the bracket, still get the bye.
That ball's driven hard to right field, going back, and it's up against the wall. Rounding second is Gibbs, and he's going to be in with a double. Shepard gave it a run, just couldn't track it down as that ball was blistered.
But getting back to the point, Cam, is that California, I'm sure, are already in protecting their pitching mode.
Absolutely.
So,
and it wouldn't surprise me, you know, even though I don't think that's the case with Sarasota, but it could be. They could be in the same boat, essentially. I mean, because they know they're through, and it is not necessarily a stretch, but it is – the odds aren't there that you're going to win the bracket to get the bye.
that's right.
So I'm sure they're in that little bit of that mode as well. First pitch to Boot Hanford is in the dirt. 1 ball.
In Sarasota's case, they got a little more to play for from the standpoint of getting the 2 or 3 seed.
Exactly right.
All right. We're reminded again that Sarasota doesn't think that Gallagher has a fastball.
You know, if I had a curveball that broke a foot, I wouldn't use a fastball either.
Well, nevertheless, he does have a fastball because, number one, he's used it. He's struck a kid out a while ago by painting it on the outside part of the plate. And not only has he got one, yeah, he doesn't throw hard, but it's got good run. I mean, it really does have good run.
It does.
So
1-1 the count. You know, there we go.
That's it.
The fastball had a little movement, painted the outside corner. It's very effective. It may not light up a radar gun at 90 miles an hour, but it's certainly accurate and it's certainly effective.
That's right. I mean, location, at 15 years old, location is more important than the speed.
Absolutely.
Because I haven't seen anybody yet that has a kid that just blows it by you. The host team, Lawrenceburg, probably has, from what I've seen and probably think and hear talking around the two fields, has the best pitcher in Blade Tidwell.
Just committed to Tennessee.
That's right. He was committed to Tennessee before he even played a high school game. So, but, I mean, he throws it up there at, I'm hearing 86, 87, 88 at times. And
struck him out. Boot Hanford goes down on strikes. 2 outs in the inning.
And he got him with his soft, moving fastball.
That's right.
So maybe that's not maybe that wasn't that kid's dad that doesn't think he has a fastball. I hope not anyway.
Zachary Sparby, left fielder, steps in for Sarasota. Runner on second with 2 outs. Breaking ball misses.
I think Sarasota, they're going to definitely be disappointed if they, with getting a 1-out double.
Absolutely.
And not putting this run across the board.
1-0. Sparby drives one. And the left fielder is under it. He makes the grab. And 1 hit, no runs, no errors. We've played 2.
And no errors.
Sarasota out in front, 1-0. You're watching the 2017 Babe Ruth World Series on Exports TV. Trevor Jackson, the first batter for California, steps in. First pitch is a strike. 3 for 9 in the tournament. 4 runs scored. Ball's low, 1-1.
Jackson's a leadoff hitter. He was walked his first time up, and then sacked, bunted over.
That ball's hit at the shortstop. He makes the play, plants, throws, not in time, as Jackson's aboard. Leadoff hit, and California is in business.
Well, Jackson's got some wheels, and he showed them right there. I mean, that ball, of course, it was in the hole, and it wasn't necessarily just hit real hard, and they made a good play on it. He just didn't have a lot of chance on throwing him out. Public address announcer Chad Moore having a little fun with Badalega's last name.
Joey Badalega. First pitch he faces a strike.
That's a good baseball name, too.
It is. It really is.
We had the other night, was it Walker Whaley? We thought was a good baseball
That's another
name.
good one.
Yeah. Got some good baseball names. You know, maybe if you're a dad and you're having a son, maybe that's what you kind of go for. What would be a good baseball name or a football name? Or
yeah. I don't know what his name fits. I don't think it's by the look of his. He's got his mama's gait, so I don't think it's sports.
Yeah, but Cam, you're a musician, so
yeah. Well,
you know, there you go.
Yeah, and he does like to play the guitar, so bass, whatever I want to break out, he'll sit there and listen. 3-1 to Badalega. And it's a pop fly out to center field. Torres under it. He makes the catch. And Jackson retreats back to first. No tag. Jaden Shepard will be the batter for California.
I think he grew since his last at bat. Cam.
I think he did,
I think he's 6'5" now.
Yep. He is a big kid. I thought he was a coach when he walked by me earlier. I looked at his face and like, no, you're young. Throw to first. Runners back in time.
I need to find out if he plays basketball. I bet he can dunk it.
I'll say there's a good chance. 2 hits apiece. Sarasota leads 1-0 here in the top of the third. That pitch is in the dirt. Jackson goes. Throw at the bag. He is there in time, and he's safe. It's the slide to the second baseman, Robertson.
Jackson, that was a good quick reaction when the ball kicked away, and it didn't kick away far. And Ayers jumped on it pretty quick and made a good throw down there. It was a closer play than I originally thought it was going to be.
He got a good jump.
Third base coach Badalega goes out to ask the question, was he there? He got sent back after about 3 steps.
The 2-0 high, 3-0 the count to Shepard. One out in the inning.
Tri-Valley looking to tie this game up.
That's a strike. He was taken all the way.
Shepard, I think you just don't want to miss one on the inner half of the plate with him because he looks like he's a dead pull hitter.
And he was on his way to first. Umpire was late calling the strike. He'll have to retrieve his bat and get reset. How hard is that when you think you've walked? Now you've got to regroup with a full count.
Well, the thing about it is you have to get right back in there, so you really don't get time to get the frustration out. And typically, if it's around the plate, you go to hacking and may swing at a bad pitch.
And he pops one up. First baseman's going to have to give it a try. He's not going to get there. The second baseman does, Robertson, and he drags it in. 2 outs in the inning.
That was a very good play by the second baseman, Dylan Robertson. He goes over. When it was hit, Kim, I thought the ball was going to be foul. I really think the wind kept it in fair territory. Right. And he made a good over-the-shoulder catch right there on the tough play.
The wind is blowing out the left field, so. Yeah. And now we've got a meeting at the mound. It appears they may be fixing to make a pitching change, or at least.
He's at 46, Cam.
Already.
So the thought may have been because of the 45 pitch count, maybe not have to take a day of rest. Maybe he's actually at 45 and we have him at 46. Because if you stop at 45, you don't have to take a day's rest. So that could be some thought into doing it. We'll see if we make a change.
Yeah, it was kind of odd that they're not going to make a change, but it was kind of conspicuous that they come out at that pitch number.
Yeah.
Considering the rules, but apparently that's not in their game plan.
Or maybe our pitch count is right, and once you go over 45, you might as well leave him in.
Yeah, and so, maybe the game plan may have been to let him just throw the 45.
That's right.
Since he went over, they're like, well, we're just going to leave you in. And
that's right.
See how he feels and go about it.
And go with him as long as they need to now.
1-0. The count, Steinhauer. Breaking ball in for a strike.
A little over-the-top 12-6 curveball that started on the inside of the part of the plate and just stayed there but went down. Both these lefties have got good breaking pitches.
The 1-1 from Gibbs. Throw to second. The runner was getting off a little bit. He's out. Play by Owen Ayers as he caught the runner in no man's land, and that'll end the inning.
Wow.
Sarasota still leads 1-0 as they strand none. 1 hit, no runs. We've played 3. You're listening to the 2017 Babe Ruth World Series from Lawrenceburg, Tennessee. First batter is the leadoff hitter, Daryl Torres, the center fielder. He's 0 for 1 on the. Actually, he has yet to register a hit. All right, and at bat, he walked his first time up. Pitch is going to be fouled off.
Well, we know this, Cam. We know this kid can fly.
Yes. That's exactly right.
He may be like Willie Mays Hayes. He hits a ball in the air. We may see him do some push-ups.
And he hit it up in the air. It's going to be fouled back. Catcher gives chase, but that's out of play. Bottom half, third inning. Sarasota out in front, 1-0. They scored in the bottom half of the first inning. Of course, both these teams are locked in to play in the championship rounds. It's just the seeding that matters.
And this game can affect California not being the bye if Sarasota gets hot and runs up a bunch of runs. But
because it would effectively be a tiebreaker at that point, and it's based on the amount of runs allowed, not scored.
Yeah.
Torres gets into one to left field, and the left fielder, Cancilla, makes the grab, so Torres is retired.
Sarasota put their run on the board in the first, the beneficiary of a bases-loaded balk.
That's exactly what happened.
So, to this point, we still don't have an earned run.
I saw something as Dylan Robinson looking the bunt, and he got it called for a strike as he thought he pulled it back in time. He didn't like the call.
Yeah, and it had to be on the attempt because that ball was way outside.
We kind of lunged for it, kind of did the old softball run and hit swipe, and that ball's outside as well. Saw a game this year in high school action between two fierce rivals end in extra innings on a balk.
Yeah. And it was I wasn't at the game, but I was listening to it, and
pop fly to the second baseman. He grabs it, 2 outs in the inning.
But it was the old proverbial first and third step off with a right foot balk, too.
It was. And it was an odd sequence. It didn't look right. Now, after going back and looking at some video, I don't know that it was the right call, but some people say, well, there's a lot of rules about the balk that don't get talked about.
That's exactly right. Well, number one, the first rule of a balk is deception.
To Roosin. Right.
It's total deception. So, in the big leagues, you would see that called every time. I'm like you. I seen the video.
And Roosin hits it to the first baseman. It's going to be a dog race, and they got to it. It's California at the end of the inning.
We'll cover this when we get back.
We've played 3 complete. Sarasota still leads 1-0. You're watching 2017 Babe Ruth World Series on X Sports TV. Corey Steinhauer, the shortstop, steps in. First pitch is a strike. California trails by 1. Both teams have registered 2 hits apiece. No earned runs. And there's a shot at the second baseman. He fields it cleanly on the first in time. And Robertson to boot Hanford for the first out of the inning.
Well, to get back to what we were talking about a while ago, Cam, about the first and third balk situation where, you know, you got a right-handed pitcher, runners on first and third. They look like they're going to go from the windup, but they do the right foot step back to deceive because, again, they go into their motion.
And there's a shot at the third baseman. Nice grab, picks it up on the first in time. And 2 away very quickly here for California.
But that's what happened in that game, and you see it from time to time. And I'm just the guy that says this: in that situation, the game you're talking about, where it's 0-0, it's in the 8th inning, which was extra innings. Sure, I get it. By letter of the rule, it's probably a balk.
Right.
In a high school game, or if it was in a 15-year-old Babe Ruth World Series game, don't let a game end because of that. That's been a great played game because of that.
Cancilia, the batter. Two outs in the inning. 1-1 now the count. You're exactly right. And what it was is the way he brought his hands up like he was going to throw and then releases them again and took off running. He didn't throw the ball. He took off running toward the bag. Mm-hmm. And that's where the deception comes in because he brings his hands up and then takes off running. That's where the balk came in. Yeah. And it was very odd because he didn't throw. He ran at the bag.
And the argument from the pitcher side is that technically he stepped off.
Right.
Even though he's deceiving that he's in his windup. So
3-1 to the batter and got a walk out of it.
No, he didn't either.
Strike.
He gave him that low and outside corner.
Cancilia didn't like that one. I have to agree with him. Full count now. Cancilla. Yeah, the whole balk thing's very interesting. And he swings at that one. It's popped out of play. And we've seen it. We've seen balks called in the tournament so far, and they've been pretty clear. Mm-hmm. There's not really been anything that's any questionable. But it is a interesting topic because a lot of people don't know the full rule.
That's right.
3-2 is hit. Shallow center field. Torres giving chase, and it got down. And so Cancilla is aboard.
First time that I haven't actually seen him get to a ball, and he got there. He just couldn't get down there low enough. But again, he probably came within 15 feet of the ground. Foul ball from another field. Starts taking people out in the stands on Sarasota side.
That was real close. Josh Anderson now the batter. He's 0 for 1 with a fly out. He's got 2 outs, a runner on first.
Big lefty.
First pitch is high. We're in the top half of the 4th inning. They only play 7 here. Sarasota leads 1-0. That pitch is high. 2-0 the count. To Anderson. Gibbs sets at 60 total pitches now. And that one nearly hit him 3-0. You know, every time I've seen a kid get hit or walk, they're not happy about it.
No.
They want to hit.
Absolutely.
I like that mindset. They don't get up there looking for walks or hits or hit by pitch. They want to put bat on ball. I was gonna, if I got on base, you know, I was like, hey, Mom, I get an ice cream, and he walks. You know, I just want it on base.
Well, these kids, they come in, and again, if your team is here, typically, for the most part, you can hit.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you run through your state and your regional to get to the World Series, at 15 years old, you can hit. So, I mean, that's what these guys love to do is they want to hit. And comparison to what we've seen in 2015, I think that I think these teams are fairly equal to what I've seen with hitting. I don't think defensive pitching is as good as we've seen in 2015. Now, the California team could hit. They could rake.
Absolutely.
They had the Thornton kid who could wear it out. But for the most part, from what I've seen, we have seen good hitting teams. I think the pitching overall is down from what it was in 2015, but we've still got some good hitting teams. Even though we're bragging on them, we've got 5 hits through, and we're in the top of the 4th.
You know, in this field, and there's a strike to Kuchar. In this field, for some reason, there hadn't been a lot of hits on this field. Now, the other field, there has been. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we've had several games where total hits was under 10 on this field. And there's a soft liner right out to third baseman, Jason Scott. And that'll end the top half of the 4th inning. We're headed to the bottom of the 4th. Sarasota still leads 1-0. You're watching 2017 Babe Ruth World Series on X Sports TV. Jason Scott for Sarasota digs in from the right side of the plate. First pitch to Scott is low. Ball 1.
Sarasota hanging on to this slim 1-0 lead.
There's a drive to left field. That's going to get over the heads. Is it going to be enough to get out of the park? And Scott on. And the whole team's going to come out to greet him, and that ball was hit on a rope.
Yeah, that ball was hit hard, Cam. It wasn't hit very high. It was hit a little higher than a line drive, but it was still hit on a line, and it probably got a small benefit of some wind. The wind may have helped get it out, but nonetheless, that ball was ripped.
That's our second home run we've seen on this field this week. And, of course, it's the shorter of the two fields, not taking anything away from Jason Scott because that ball was hit hard. But there's only been one home run on the other field, and they said it was an absolute behemoth.
It was. It looked like when it left over there, it was hit about 500 feet.
Nicholas Henry steps in. He'll have to follow that.
But that was a shot there. I mean, that ball, it's 327 down the line and 370 in the center and straightaway center. So you hit that ball 340 or so, right at the scoreboard, went over the fence just right under the scoreboard.
And there's another base hit. It's going to fall in the hole, and tell you what, Shepard almost got to it, and Henry's aboard.
Shepard made a great attempt, a great effort to get there. And when it was first hit, I didn't think he had a chance. And once he got those long legs stretched out, he started covering some ground and almost made a play on it.
And now the coach. going to come out and have a word with his pitcher. First home run I remember ever hitting. I hit it, put my head down, took off running. I heard it clang. I didn't know what it hit. I knew it hit something solid. I just kept running. I got to third, and the coach grabbed me. He said, it's over. It went over, and I was still trucking it. It hit the top of the fence and bounced over.
Is this at the old Civitan Little League field?
No, this was, what's the Little League park that was at the Old Armory? Was that the Civitan?
Yeah,
it was.
that's
You're
it.
right.
Yeah, that's the old Civitan Little League field.
I didn't ever know the name of that place, I guess.
Yeah, it was called Civitan Park.
Cade Nelson up. He's going to bunt.
That was a perfect bunt.
And the catcher mishandles it, and both runners are aboard. I'm assuming that's going to be ruled an error. All right. Was hustling down the line. He may have beat it out anyway.
He was. He bunted. That was a perfect bunt. He bunted up the first baseline. He bunted it about 25, 30 feet up the line, and he just put it in no man's land, and the catcher tried to make a good play. He tried to barehand it like you're taught to do, and he just didn't get a handle of it. And so now Sarasota's got runners on first and second with nobody out.
So when Ayers steps in,
I don't know that they scored that an error, Cam, and
they haven't scored it anything yet. Yes, they have scored it an error.
And I just don't know that.
I think the error is on the wrong spot in the scoreboard. They've got Sarasota with the E, and I don't think they have an E. I think
that one, yeah.
And now the drive, left field, and it's going to be caught on the warning track, and we're not going to get a tag. I think everybody in Sarasota thought that one was out of here.
Well, it was well hit, and to be honest with you, he probably got under it. He probably knew when he hit it that it was more of a pop-up than what it was. And the wind, again, we're just seeing the effects of the wind carry these balls deeper than what they've gone all week long. But I'm a little surprised that Henry didn't tag up out at second as deep as that ball was.
I think he was standing on third when he realized it was grabbed. Evan Gibbs, the pitcher, 1 for 1 with a double. We've got time. Gallagher just crossed the 50-pitch mark. Another drive, right field. Shepard going back. He gets double turned up against the wall. 1 run will score. Run number 2 holds up at third. And Sarasota takes a 3-run lead here in the bottom of the 4th.
Pitcher Gibbs turned on that one and just stroked it out to right field.
That's his second double.
That was a shot right there.
And that's going to do it all for Gallagher. As the second visit to the mound means his night is over. And we're going to a new pitcher. We'll take a break as the new pitcher comes in. You're watching the 2017 Babe Ruth World Series from Lawrenceburg, Tennessee.
Number 44, Alex Hanford.
Welcome back in now. The new pitcher is Evan Chevalier for California. Alec Boot Hanford steps in. Runners on second and third. Infield in. And pass ball. The runners are going to stay put.
I think if Boot Hanford would get into bull riding with his last name, he could.
His size. He's got this. I tell you what, he's a big kid, too.
Yeah.
He got hit yesterday, and he turned around. I think he wanted to eat the pitcher. He was so mad. He was so mad that he got hit.
I'll be honest with you, there's some guys in this tournament that I don't think I want coming out after me, and he would be toward the top of that list.
2-0 is the count to Boot Hanford. He gets into one down the foul third base line, and then it's just on the left side of the bag.
Cade Nelson did a little matrix move right there to avoid that one, didn't he?
When I'm on the baselines and I got a hitter, it's a pull hitter up. I'm protecting the jewels.
Yeah, I'm breaking wide's what I'm doing.
Yes, very. And there's a curveball in for a strike. 2-2 to Boot Hanford. 5 hits now for Sarasota, 3 for California. Florida leads 3-0. East Coast and West Coast. And Chevalier taking his time. He delivers from the stretch. It's inside. Ball gets away from the catcher. Kuchar. No runner goes.
Chevalier, another lefty for Tri-Valley. He's got a good curveball also. Both these guys have got some really good biting curveballs.
California has a righty in the bullpen warming up. No activity in the Sarasota bullpen. They have a big staff.
It's number 3, Troy Nassar, down there getting loose.
And there's a strike. He struck him out as Boot Hanford thought he was going to first base on a walk. And we've seen the umpire.
He's got that slide delay, Cam.
He does. It fools the batters.
He does, and so obviously he makes no sound, no anything until.
And we had a warning now issued to the Sarasota first base coach. And that would be Mr. Million. 2 outs now for Sarasota as they're up 3-0. And again, we've seen the California teams take their time delivering the ball. It's got to throw off the timing just a hair. There's a curveball in for a strike.
Chevalier's got a very good overhand curveball, which means it's a more of a 12-6 instead of a slider that comes up and then just kind of goes away from you. This one goes from basically the letters down to the knees.
Sparby the batter. A fastball gets away. And again, the runners stay put.
Kuchar did a nice job of keeping that ball close.
They've still got the only error up, and it's on Florida, and I don't think that's the case. I think the error is on California, and we've seen that on the bunt play, but we can just broadcast it as we see it. The high score computer has the error on California's end, so I tend to lean more toward the computer model.
I think that's correct, Cam. And I would
in my eyes.
And I would argue the fact that I wouldn't have gave him an error.
I'm with you. There's another strike. There again, overhand curve. 1-2 the count to Sparby. He's over 1 with a fly out.
Nonetheless, if you're a Sarasota fan, right here, you're looking for a 2-out hit right here to break the game open at 5-0.
Sparby with his bat on his shoulders. And he's going to ask for time as he begins to get a little frustrated that Chevalier's taking his time. He gets the sign. Pitches outside. 2-2 the count to Sparby.
So for this game, Cam, to make a difference between these two teams, Sarasota, who would still have actually this is both of these guys' last pool games. Sarasota on the runs allowed column.
Sharper to third. He picks it up. Throw to first. Inning over.
We'll finish that thought when we come back.
So we're through 4. 2 runs scored. 3 hits. Florida on top, 3-0. You're watching the 2017 Babe Ruth World Series on X Sports TV. And welcome back to the 2017 Babe Ruth World Series. And we got a pinch hitter. It's going to be Dimitri Aaron coming in for Gallagher. So he's batting in the pitcher's spot. Two and O's the count.
But what we were talking about before we went to break there, Cam, for this game to really make a difference, California is ahead 8 runs in the runs allowed column.
So Sarasota's going to have to win by 8
to tie.
To tie, which would go to the third tiebreaker, which is runs scored.
That's right. Well,
then it gets goofy.
That's exactly right.
It just gets goofy. And he walked him on 4 straight. So Gibbs, who just let go his 68th pitch, he has thrown an even amount of balls and strikes, 34 aside. And now Mr. Million's going to come out, have a word with his pitcher. After the first batter, I would be shocked if we get a change, as now they're getting some activity in the Sarasota bullpen. It looks like Cade Nelson is warming up. Could be Noah Scott. That's the 2 players from Sarasota in the bullpen. And considering Nelson was in the lineup as the extra player, I'm assuming that he will be the chosen one.
Yeah, and the coach just kind of gave an indication there that was more about killing time, because he hollered in at the catcher, don't get behind the plate till I get in the dugout. So he's wanted to take as long as possible.
Yeah. The pitch is in the dirt. A little gamesmanship, nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely.
1 ball, no strike.
It's part of the
Trevor
game.
Jackson. There's a strike.
Other than the fact of Tri-Valley being down 3-0, that's the only reason that Dimitri Aaron hasn't taken off yet. I mean, to be honest, there's really there's nothing to gain by him taking off. The only benefit it would if he can get to second, obviously, is take the double play off.
Yeah, that one just barely missed. 2-1, as the strike zone has shrank immensely.
Well, he may be proving his point to the Sarasota fans who was on him pretty hard.
Line drive over the top. And Aaron rounds second. Here comes a throw. The throw's going to beat him there, and the tag does too, and he is out. What an out. Tyler Rusin.
Well, Coach Batalega was bringing him on. He was waving him on, and that's just, to me, that's just one of the cardinal rules of baseball that you just don't do right there.
Number 2, Joey Batalega.
But I see his point to an extent, Cam. You got Aaron who can absolutely fly. Everything, even though, I mean, the ball wasn't hit deep, he cut it off, but everything had to work perfectly. He had to throw a strike from out there, and he did.
And it was on the line,
yeah.
And it was a big throw. It just all worked out very well for Sarasota.
Yeah. And it was right on the money.
It was.
It was right on the money. He didn't have to move to make a play. I mean, Aaron slid basically right into the ball as it was caught.
One out now, and the out was made at third, but there is a runner on second, Trevor Jackson. And Batalega is the batter. 2-1 the count to Batalega.
Well, it just begs the question of taking that chance when you're down by 3. You know, if you've got runners on first and second in this situation, if you want to move them, just lay the bunt down and sack them over.
Fly ball to center field. Torres settles under it, and he's got it. Runner holds at second. So 2 outs now in the inning.
So now they're just 1 out away of pitching out of this jam that they started for themselves, putting the first 2 on. But big Jaden Shepard step into the box. He can change the complexion of this game with one swing of the bat.
He's 0 for 2 with 2 flyouts. He's got a runner in scoring position. Over the top curveball in for a strike. It is right down Broadway. If Shepard wanted the pitch to hit, that was it. Fastball, and he chops one to the shortstop. On the first is Henry. In time, and down goes California here in the top of the 5th. Sarasota coming up next in the bottom half of the 5th of 5. 3-0. Florida leads California. You're watching 2017 Babe Ruth World Series on X Sports TV. as the light rain begins to fall here in game number 1, and Torres steps in. First pitch is a strike. Dylan Robertson on deck. Sarasota leads 3-0. Corey, how much does the rain change the complexity of this game?
It will definitely change ground balls.
And Torres nearly put one out of the park. As it's up against the wall, Torres rounds second. He's going to get caught in a rundown. As he got a little sloppy with his base run, and Torres can fly, so they're going to have to be on their toes, and they're going to get him. So the double is negated as Torres rounded second and kind of got caught in no man's land.
Well, he was hustling hard right out of the box, Cam, and from the time that he seen that the ball wasn't going to get called, he had 3 in mind the whole time. And when he gets in, he basically stopped because the third base coach was holding him up. By that time, he was already committed. But again, that's one of those base running mistakes that you just don't need to take the chance to get to third in that situation.
Dylan Robertson gets into one, and left fielder coming on to make the catch. 2 out quickly in the inning. And a quick look at the radar. Got a heavy shower north of the ballpark. I don't think that's going to touch us. There is some showers out to our our west. The one that's on top of us now is not even registered on radar. Tyler Russin, the batter.
It's registering here at the field.
It is registered here at the field. You're exactly right. And the one coming across the county line now, it appears to be a little heavier.
Well, this is going to, again, any ground ball, this is going to make it's going to make it a little tougher to make sure you get a good handle on it. And even the pitcher, they'll want to make sure that they got a dry ball. And
there's that little shower. It's just sitting on top of us. It's very light. With the rain out to our west, will be the one you have to worry about. Russin lifts one high. Left fielder, all 3 of them has been in his direction, and he makes the grab, and that does it for Sarasota here in the bottom of the 5th. We head to the 6th. California is 6 outs away from dropping their first game of the 2017 Babe Ruth World Series. You're watching on the X Sports TV. Welcome back into 2017 Babe Ruth World Series. Florida leads California 3-0, and it's worth noting this California team has won at least the last 2 World Series in their age group leading up into this World Series. So they're no stranger to this tournament. First pitch is a strike. Gibbs still on the mound. He's at 80 pitches. There's a grounder in between the first and second baseman. Pitcher hustles. He has to dig it out. He drops it. Catcher's backing up, but it goes by him. And Steinhauer is aboard with a leadoff single. I don't think they'll give an error there, Corey.
No.
Although there is one on the board.
That's some tough scoring. What's his name? Boot Hanford. Yeah, Alec Boot Hanford. He got to the ball quick, Cam. He just didn't lead him, far enough. And but heck, that's a tough play. That's tough scoring up there. Whoever's doing the scoring.
Yeah, I don't believe that was an error, but I'm not sure.
No, we just call it.
Is now the batter. He's 0 for 2 with the fly on the ground out.
We don't make the news. We just report it,
That's
Cam?
exactly right. At least I hope not to make news. 2-0 now to Farvey. And we've got a visit to the mound, talk with Evan Gibbs.
And he is coming out.
He is. And we'll have a new pitcher when we return. You're watching 2017 Babe Ruth World Series. Florida leads California 3-0. Welcome back in as we have a new pitcher, Nicholas Henry. He will come in and face, let's see,
Luke Pavaldi.
Comes in the middle of the count. 2-1 now. Thought that was kind of odd.
You don't see that a lot, but, I didn't pay attention, Cam, but when the ball was hit to first base,
he may have got shaken up a little bit.
He could have, because he dove after it and he reached back, so there could have been something there with him coming out right in the middle of the count.
He was slow to get up, and he walks him. And that's going to bring up Shane Kinsella.
So California's got the first real rally going with 2 on here in the top of the 6th. Looking to get something going. They're very fortunate to only be down 3-0 with some base running mistakes that's happened in the last couple innings, and which they've made a couple base running mistakes of themselves to keep them from scoring, but got a good opportunity here.
Cancella's perfect on the day. He's reached base both times with a single.
Camp, you're down 3-0. Do you sacrifice and move them over here?
Not with 2 outs, I don't think.
There's no
outs. Excuse me. I was looking at the wrong end of the scoreboard.
Yeah, I don't think I'd tried it with 2 outs either.
No. 2-0 the count to Cancella. Man, that's so tough. Considering Cancella is 2 for 2 on the day, I think you're letting him hit.
Probably so. Again, there's no real right or wrong decision, in my opinion, in this at bat. Even though you are down to your final 6 outs, and you need to get something.
You need to get something.
That's right.
And runs breed runs.
That's exactly right.
And that one's up high and inside, full count. Or excuse me, 3-0. Again, that two's, I don't know where that two's coming from in my mind.
Henry coming in, he's having a little difficulty finding the zone, but again, he's brought.
Telling away fastball for a strike.
He's brought in right in the middle of a count. So Kinsella this is his first 0-0 count that he's had, so maybe you can find his legs right here.
And it runs inside, and Kinsella walks. Bases loaded now with no outs. California is threatening. And big Josh Anderson steps in on the left side of the plate. As the flags are standing straight out almost, as the wind is up aloft, it's pretty stout.
Well, it looks like we're in on the corners, and Sarasota is playing double play depth in the middle, and they'll be happy to concede 1 run here just to turn 2 for sure.
First pitch is a ball. The rain has stopped here. There is more coming. Just going to graze the greater Lawrenceburg area, I think. Maybe okay. Curveball in there for a strike. Nice pitch.
Big hook there, Cam.
First righty we've seen.
You're exactly right. Nice catch on that.
1-1. Another curve in for another strike. 1-2 the count now.
Another good hit. He's found something with that curveball.
Yes, he has. If he hangs one, he's in trouble. There's a curve, and he did.
He did hang it.
And it's pulled. 1 run is in. 2 runs is in. And we have ourselves a 1-run game.
Well, you just mentioned it before he let it go, Cam. He better not hang it, and he did. That one, it came over, it held up right in the middle of the plate instead of breaking down at that back foot. And Josh Anderson just stroked it in right field to drive in 2.
So runners at the corners, no outs. And California's in business.
Typically, when you get ahead with 2 curveballs like that, if you want to throw it again, you bury it in on that back foot.
Right.
You just have to trust your catcher that he's going to block it. And, you're ahead in the count. You don't want to leave that over the middle of the plate.
First pitch, the Kuchar is called strike.
With runners on first and third here, I'm not sure how they're going to play it, but you'd almost want to see Anderson take off.
There's a hit at the third baseman. It gets through. And we have a tie game. So Kuchar does his job, puts one in play, and it's under the glove of Mason Payne.
Well, that ball was hit hard. It looked like third baseman Payne, he had a play on it. He just, like I said, it beat him to the spot and got through. And California's tied it up, but now they're still in business, Cam, with runners on first and second and nobody out.
We got a pinch hitter for Aaron. And let's see who we got. It will be Matt Sugden.
Yeah.
I didn't see the.
Yeah. Matt Sugden. He was the he was the starting catcher the first 2 games. And we got into action. The pitcher got into action, and everybody took a lead, and the home plate umpire was nowhere near to be found.
Sugden turned around and had a big smile on his face.
Wondering what was going on.
So, again, both these teams have made it through out of the pool play, but seeding, if California wins this game, they will clinch the number 1 seed. They still may clinch it anyway, even with a loss. And Sugden shows a bunt. He gets one down.
Perfect bunt.
And there's nobody at first. So another miscue by Sarasota loads the bases back up.
Well, and that mistake, it looked like that with the defense that they had on, the mistake was made by the second baseman because the third baseman didn't charge, so he goes home to cover. So when third baseman goes home to cover, the shortstop covers too. So at that time, we had the second baseman and the shortstop both were covering too. Where when the first baseman charges in a sack bunt situation like that, the first baseman's job is the second baseman's job is to cover first base.
Absolutely. And Gallagher's going to re-enter for Sugden. Get a little more speed on the base pass.
Because when you have runners on first and second, you're not going to throw and get the guy at second. You're either going to get the guy at first or you're going to get the guy at third.
And how about this? Sugden immediately takes off down to the California bullpen to catch for the guys warming up.
So now Florida has no choice but bring the infield in.
And pitch is outside.
You know, and it seems a lot of time, Cam, because California has got a rally started and they've tied the game up. Florida's got to remember they're still tied. I mean, they're not behind, even though they got to find a way to pitch out. And even if they can just limit to where just Anderson scores, they're still going to be okay. They'll just be down one run.
And the pitch was outside, called strike.
But what they need right here more than anything is they need a ground ball right to somebody on the infield.
And fouled off the hands, out of play into the backstop. 1-2 now to Trevor Jackson, who's 2 for 2 with a walk and a couple of singles. 6 hits apiece, 3 runs apiece. 2 errors for Florida, 1 error for California, even though the scoreboard field is giving Florida all 3 errors. That's not the case.
Ozzie Smith is apparently scoring. Every play not made, he's calling an error. Mr. Scorekeeper is.
2-2 now to Jackson. Three runs have crossed here in the top half of the 6th inning for California. The 2-2 fouled off. Henry has came in the inning in the middle of a pitch count. He's thrown 19 pitches, 11 strikes, 9 balls.
And even from the standpoint, Cam, of Florida wants to limit the amount of runs.
And there's a swing, and it's fouled off. I don't know. Yeah. That ball was up around the ankles.
Yeah. Well, Sarasota wants to limit the amount of runs either way, even if they lose this game, because they very well could still wind up tied with the third team, and the runs allowed make a difference on where they get the 2 or 3 seed.
Absolutely. There's one up the middle. And it's going to plate one for the go-ahead, and the runners hold. And California has taken its first lead of the game. They were scoreless, and they have plated 4 here with no outs still in the top of the 6th.
And that may have been Henry's last batter.
Well, no, the coach went back to the dugout.
He came back in.
There was a little bit of confusion. I'm not sure what he's sending him back out. And Badalaga is going to step in. He's 0 for 2 on the day. This game was moving right along, and we've come to a screeching halt.
Yes, we have. Well, the bats for California have waken up. They hit a few balls hard, but this inning they've hit a lot of line drives that have found some holes.
First pitch is a strike to Badalaga.
Looks like we got some action in the Sarasota bullpen, Cam. Number 23, I'm not sure who that is.
It will be Brennan Yonker. 1-2 the count to Badalaga. First baseman coming over Talk to his pitcher, Henry. Game on the other field in the start of the fourth. It's New Jersey 12, Newtown 3. That ball's in the dirt, 2-2.
As the California dugout is now showing lots of life.
The 2-2 from Henry. Hit the first. Throw to home. He got him. And everybody else is safe. So they got the force at the plate. Good heads-up play there by Evan Gibbs.
Yeah, that's what they needed. It wouldn't hurt if they had one more of those.
And now here comes Yonker. And to get the final 2 outs, we'll take a break while they make the change. You're watching 2017 Babe Ruth World Series on X Sports TV. Jaden Shepard now will be the first batter that Brandon Yonker faces. And California has come back to take a 1-run lead here, top of the 6th. First pitch is a strike. Florida had a 3-run lead when we entered the inning.
Cam, they're looking at a ground ball right back to the pitcher, and they get one home to first double play right here.
Shepard takes 1-1 to the big right-hand hitter. Pitch is outside, 2-1. And it's fouled off. 2-2 to Shepard.
He took that outside fastball. Instead of trying to drive it to right center, he tried to pull it. He just tapped it foul. Anytime you take an outside pitch like that and you try to pull it, 9 times out of 10, you're just going to get rollover ground balls all you're going to hit.
That ball's in the dirt, bounces up to the backstop, and the runners stay put. Tell you what, on that other field, it's a lot further back from home plate.
It is. But even here, Cam, I don't know if he didn't get a good read or a bad jump or whatnot. If it gets by, you should score as far back here as this is. But you're right. The other field, if it's by, it's automatic.
Yeah,
you
it's
walk
automatic. There's a hit right at the shortstop. And he makes the grab on the 2, and he takes out the second baseman. And he didn't get the throw off. 1 run will come across and score. As the base runner did his job of preventing the next throw.
Yeah, he went in hard. I mean, it looked fair from here. Of course, we can't tell the angle he went in, but he went in straight.
Right, now if he goes off the path,
that's right.
It's interference, and it didn't, like you said, it didn't appear he did that.
Yeah, he just went in hard, and, I mean, he may have went in cleats up a little, but he still went in straight at the bag.
2 out now in the inning, but they have already played at 5. California leads by 2, 5-3. Next batter is Jaden Shepard. Excuse me, Corey Steinhauer, a shortstop. He's 0 for 3. He did reach on an error. Yonkers 0-1 delivery. Up high, popped up. Giving chase. It's in the danger zone and making the catch is the left fielder, Sparby, and that'll end the 6th inning. But the damage is done. California plates 5, and they have a 2-run lead heading to the bottom of the 6th. You're watching the 2017 Babe Ruth World Series on X Sports TV.
Jason Scott.
Now pitching for California is Shane Campbell. And all California has to do is hold on, and they will get the bye as one of the only 2 unbeaten teams in the tournament. There's a strike, a curve. Tell you what, Scott didn't like that one.
He didn't, and Kinsella, he comes from, he's not a submariner, but he's for sure a sidearm, and he's got a slinging curveball, and what's tough is that fastball's got some good movement, and they come out of the same slot and the same arm angle, and from the side, and you don't know which way it's going, and he's going to be tough to hit, Cam.
Absolutely. And the next batter for Sarasota. And there we go. Right. They've got our things mixed up here, but the next batter is Gibbs, I believe. No. It's Brandon Yonker, excuse me. Is our 2-0 the count to Yonker. 3-0 now.
Sarasota, they just need base runners. No matter how they can find the way on, they need base runners.
And they've got their second guy aboard, one out in the inning as Yonker is on, and that's going to bring up Cade Nelson. Outside, good call. 1-0.
Yeah, that curve low 3/4, and this fastball and curveball comes out of the same slot, out of the same arm angle, and his fastball, he throws a two-seam, and it's got some good run, and his curveball's got good movement, so he's going to be tough to hit.
One. Check swing. Strike called.
It's kind of hard to tell how far he went, Cam,
Yeah.
but I'd like to have seen him ask for help on that one,
Right.
not make that call himself.
1-2 the count. Shot back to the pitcher over his head. Shortstop comes to play under his glove.
Well,
So Cade Nelson's aboard, and that'll bring up Owen Ayers, the catcher.
and Steinauer, the shortstop, he only had one play as softly as the ball was hit. He was charging. He was going to go to first just on that last hop that he was going to field it on. I just don't think it came up as much as he was expecting, and he just didn't field it cleanly. And so now we got the tying runs. Sarasota has the tying runs on. A ball in the gap may tie the game up right here. As we get a little light rain start back, Cam.
There's in for a strike. Caught the inside corner on Nelson. Runners at first and second. The 0-1 to Nelson. Hit the right field. Shepard's under it. He makes the catch. Runner stays at second. 2 outs now.
Number 4, Evan Gibbs.
Evan Gibbs, the batter now for Sarasota. First one's a ball. Outside. 2 outs. Sarasota with runners on second and first. The 2-0 comes inside. 3-0 to Gibbs.
He's going to take 2 straight right here, Cam.
Called strike, outside corner.
Yeah, if you're Sarasota right here, you just need some more base runners. So Gibbs, I would think, is probably still sitting on a take sign. Do anything you can to get the tying run down to second.
And he does, and he walks him. Bases loaded. So a 2 out. Sarasota is threatening. And we're going to have a pitching change here for California. And while they get their guy loose, we'll take a break, and we'll be back here with bases loaded. Sarasota down 2, but they're threatening with 2 outs. You're listening to the 2017 Babe Ruth World Series on X Sports TV. Mason Payne now will step in, new pitcher for California. Is Badalega.
Sarasota's one swing away from tying this game up.
Absolutely. 2 outs. Bottom of the 6th. And it went upstairs. Hit a duck out of the way.
Third base coach looked down there like, are you kidding me? Take that in the back. Drive to first base and get us within 1.
Mason Payne. That one's up around the numbers. They're going to call a ball. Two and 0 to Payne. And that one nearly got him. Yeah. Bases loaded, but as quick as that ball ricocheted off the back, guys didn't go.
Absolutely. No.
Don't listen to that in the crowd.
That got back quick.
That did. It come out like a tennis ball.
I think that went through one ear hole and came out the other.
Yeah. 3-0 now the count.
Yeah, he's for sure taking 2.
Yeah. That one's down Broadway. 3-1 to Payne. Badalega. Needs to throw another strike. And he does. Full count. The Payne.
Badalega throws the ball pretty hard.
He does. He's got some action on it.
He does. Well, one advantage Sarasota has right here is everybody will break on the pitch. So any ball that's hit through the infield or in the outfield, you should see 2 score automatically.
And that one's going to be fouled off as the runners were on the move, as you would expect. Badalega is not really keeping a close eye on anyone. Yeah, he just needs to worry about throwing strikes.
That's right. His focus is the hitter right here.
And that one's pulled foul, out of play.
Yeah, and he chased ball 4 there too, Cam. That ball was up. But I would much rather see him go after one than get called for a third strike in this situation.
3-2. 2 outs for Sarasota. They trail by 2. Swing, pop fly, center fielder running back. He settles under it, and he makes the catch. So Sarasota leaves 3 stranded. Nothing to show for it. They're down 2, down to the 3 final outs. California will come to the plate, top of the 7th inning. You're watching the 2017 Babe Ruth World Series on X Sports TV. First batter of the inning will be Trevor Jackson. And we had to wait till the music will stop playing.
Here's Brendan Yonker still on the hill.
1-1. Now to Jackson. Excuse me. It's not Jackson. It's Luke Pavarvi. One. Just misses inside. 2-1. Of course, California would like to add some insurance runs, but at the same time, Sarasota wants to ensure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
They've had their opportunities, has Sarasota. Just couldn't capitalize.
Yeah, they had a good opportunity the last inning and just couldn't get the hit when they needed it. And
a lot of baseball is about timely hitting. It's not necessarily the most hits, but it's about when you get the hit.
That's exactly right, Cam.
2-2 to Pavarvi. Lets that one get away to Yonker over his head.
Score when you have the opportunity.
That's it.
That may be the most underrated stat in the game, the left on base stat.
I think you're right.
I mean, it very well could be because how many times do you get opportunities that you don't take advantage of?
And Pavarvi pops that one to right field. And he makes the catch. 1 down in the inning.
Because, you know, we're going to start talking about something, probably get off on a tangent, but I hate the guys in Major League Baseball that hit 35 home runs, and 27 of their home runs are in the 7th inning or later when they're losing or they're winning, 7 or 8 runs either way in the ball game.
And they're solo shots.
Absolutely. That drives me insane. The guy's batting .225. He hits 40 home runs, and he's got, 80 RBIs, and 35 of his 40 home runs come off of somebody eating up innings.
Cancilla, the batter. Fouls that one off. 1-1. One out.
I'm a huge Yankees fan, always have been, and that was Teixeira the back half of his career. It drove me insane. I wanted them to get rid of Teixeira for such a long time, and
his numbers look good, but they were in wrong spots.
Absolutely, they were never when it mattered. If you ever needed him to get a hit, you could be sure he'd strike out every time.
That's where advanced stats come in. Second strike thrown to Cancilla. You've got all these on-base percentage plus slugging stats, and there's a drive to center field. Sarasota player makes a catch as Sarasota has swapped up some players here in the fielding. That's not Torres in center field anymore. Maybe giving him a breather, resting him up.
Yep, Torres in his gold shoes sitting on a bucket.
That's going to bring up for California, Josh Anderson. 2 outs in the inning.
I'm not sure where Torres' spot is coming up in the lineup, but if it comes back up, he very well will probably hit.
He will be in the hole. 0-1 to Anderson. That curveball misses. 1-1. California leads 5-3. The 2-1 to Anderson. Popped up out of play.
Cam, our next game, we got North Dakota versus Mississippi.
That's a must-win game for both those two teams to advance.
Yeah, North Dakota kids, they will be, if they lose this game, they will be moving on to hockey.
And that's a fun sport. 3-2 now to Anderson.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're not ready for it. It's still hot outside.
That's right. Even in North Dakota, it's still warm.
Payoff pitch. Anderson fouls it out of play. Of course, Mississippi would be football.
That's correct. Football kicks off this Friday night here in the South.
And he walked him, so Anderson's aboard. Feels like it just ended. So what would you, that's always the debate, is baseball or football bigger in the South? I'm going to say football.
Football.
For sure.
I think so, too.
Even maybe not at the kid level, but once you get to high school and above, football is definitely the main sport here. Stepping in for California.
Football still.
Brad Kuchar.
Football in the South is still the king. And I think, again, that's just obviously because of the SEC. You know, I think that carries the weight even down to the high school level.
And he fouls that one off, so 1-1 to Kuchar.
I just, me personally, listen, I love football. I love to watch football. Obviously a huge Tennessee fan, but I just can't get into it in August. I just can't. I mean, even, you know, I have a hard time getting into a football game in August.
1-1's a strike. 1-2.
When I go to the football game, I want to be cold.
Yeah.
I want to put on some jeans and a flannel shirt and maybe a pullover, and I want to see some the breath coming out of my mouth.
And Couture is down on strikes. And now we head to the bottom of the 7th. Sarasota needs 2 runs to tie. California would like to clinch that first round bye. You're watching the 2017 Babe Ruth World Series from Lawrenceburg, Tennessee on X Sports TV. Sarasota down to their final 3 outs. And the first batter of the inning will be number 6, Patrick. Excuse me, wrong side. Zach Sparby. And Sparby's ahead 2-0.
Well, if you're Sarasota here, Cam, you're probably taking until you get a strike, and you're doing everything you can to get a couple of guys on, because that's what you've got to have to. One doesn't matter. So you're going to be patient to try to get base runners.
Matalega's thrown 3 straight balls.
And at the same time, if you're Matalega's dad being the manager, you're just wanting him to pound the strike zone. I mean, come on. Throw it in there, let him hit it.
And there you go. He walks him. 4 straight pitches.
Brings the tying run to the plate. We have seen a bomb.
We have, and it was hit by Sarasota. Pinch hitter Noah Scott will pitch hit for Torres.
Actually, in game 1 on Thursday night that we did, Cam, one of the kids from Sarasota hit a bomb.
Okay.
Against Marshall County.
That's right.
Try to think who the kid was. But somebody in the lineup obviously has home run power. Try to remember back who that kid was.
So are they bunting here or no?
Absolutely not.
Throw to first, trying to keep it catching sleeping. Good pickoff move by Matalega.
The only way you bunt in this situation, if that is a tool this kid has as a hit. He's bunting for a hit if you're bunting.
Right. He's a Billy Hamilton.
Yeah.
0-1 the count. Swing and a miss. 0-2. Chasing the curveball.
And just like, even getting your lead at first base, you've got to get a very conservative lead. The last thing that can happen is you get picked off at first base.
Every out is crucial here in the bottom half of the 7th. Outside, 1-2.
Hey!
I don't think you're running there. I don't think you risked that.
No
way.
No, but that was funny. The catcher, I think he was trying to hold up, and as he stops, the ball comes out.
Little rain we had earlier may have.
Yeah, he looked over at the dugout and said it was wet. I don't blame him. I'd have blamed it being wet too.
Absolutely. The 1-2. Scott outside, 2-2.
Yeah, that was a good call. That ball came around the plate. I got a good view at that one. That one came around the plate.
Scott digs back in. Matalega checks the runner at first from the stretch. The 2-2 hit at the first baseman. He as the first baseman stepped on the bag just in time, and it was bang, bang. But the runner advances.
Yeah, Anderson made a good play there. I mean, even though he booted the ball came up and he booted. He kept his wits about him. He reached down with his bare hand, he picked it up, and he hustled over, and he found an out. And that's exactly what you're taught to do. And it looked like to me, basically, he was going to go too. It looked like he was just trying to get rid of it before he ever caught it.
Robertson steps in. 1 out in the inning. Got a runner on second. Tying run is at the plate.
And, if you're Tri-Valley, the guy at second doesn't mean anything to you. I mean, if you're for Matalega, the pitcher, I mean, you just don't pay a lot of attention to him. You let him get whatever lead he wants. And
that one nearly hit him as Robertson had to do a little scoop back.
Yeah, and again, if I'm the coach, I'm saying, hey, hang in there. Take that one for the team. Trot on down to first base. I can assure you in college that would be a hit batter. Those guys don't back up.
No.
They don't back up.
2-0.
Most of the coaches, and even I know our high school coach here, has the mile if your feet move. You run a mile if your feet go. If your feet go backwards, you run a mile, and you get out of the way of a pitch. There'd be a lot of times I'd just take the mile.
Absolutely, of course.
Yeah.
There was a lawsuit in state of a drill trying to teach players not to move out of the way. And a parent had snuck in and was videotaping practice and thought they were beaning kids with baseballs. They weren't. They were training balls. They were softer than a tennis ball.
There you go.
Long story short, but that blew up in a parent's face. And a pop fly to center field. He's going to settle under it for out number 2, so Sarasota's down to its final out. So Robertson's retired, and Tyler Rusin, who we've seen come through with some big hits.
And a great arm. Earlier in the game, he threw out a guy going from first to third on a hit.
Number 19, Tyler Rusin.
And it's a pop fly in the infield. And it's straight back up to the shortstop. He makes the catch. Game over. California wins. As Russin's not happy, kicking his helmet, kicking a little dirt.
That's your ball game.
And California
5, Sarasota, Florida 3.
comes from behind with a big 6th inning and will win this side of the bracket and get the first round bye.
Well, they had their opportunities, Cam. They even throughout the game. I mean, you can a run not scored in the first is just as important as not scored in the 6th. So you get your opportunities throughout the game, and you don't plate those runs. At the end of the game, they come back to bite you. And Sarasota had opportunities, and so did Tri-Valley early in the game. They had their opportunities, didn't take advantage of it, but Tri-Valley at the end of the day had one hot inning where they hit the ball well and put 5 on the board, and the guys they brought in to pitch the last couple innings made it hold up, made it count.
Absolutely. And we'll wrap this one up. For your final score, California 5, Florida 3, and California will move on. And for Corey Rochelle, I'm Cam Ashburn. Stay tuned. We've got game number 2 coming up in just a bit between North Dakota and Mississippi. You've been watching Exports TV.
Player of the game for Sarasota, Florida, number 20, Jason Scott. This award is in recognition of Babe Ruth League Incorporated late President and CEO Ron Telephison. His commitment to our nation's youth was unsurpassed. His primary objective was that every child has the opportunity to play in this great game. Congratulations to these outstanding players.